Good morning, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy Tuesday. It is me, your managing editor for WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Tuesday to get a little tickled, to talk some pro wrestling of the past 24 hours. To our good friend, EJ Cameron. EJ, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Good to be back, man. I was just telling you, letting everybody know I'm negative now. Everybody, don't worry. Thanks for all the well wishes on Twitter. I did not get from all of you. I am fine. Thank you. Oh,
Samantha, how are you feeling?
Thank you, Samantha. I'm feeling great. How are you feeling, Samantha?
Sherrod Jones, good morning. Ross sucked. EJ, hope you're feling better, bro.
Oh, man, I spoke too soon. I was like, nobody reached out to me.
No, dude, they're all over you right now, man. They're like,
then apologies.
They're on you like a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat, as Jim Ross would say, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know why I thought a pack of hot dogs. I was like, wait, how does that? Oh, I got it.
Pack of 8 hot dogs on a 10 bunned bag or whatever it is, right?
Someone's eating bread tonight.
10 hot dogs to 8 buns. All right. Anyway, hey. Welcome to the show, everybody. By the way, EJ, I don't know what it is. There's some kind of ambient sound. I don't know if you have an air conditioner on.
I do have an air conditioner. Hold on, let me tweet this guy.
Wonderful. Sorry about that, everybody. Sound check, right? Hey, we got a great show for you here today. We have a lot of news in the past 24 hours. Obviously, the whole wrestling world here still going wild from CM Punk's AEW Rampage debut on Friday. We had SummerSlam. We had TakeOver. We have a lot of fallout from all of that stuff here coming up soon. Also, later on, if you're listening to us in audio form, you are going to get to hear the full audio from the WWE Las Vegas tryout camp media scrum with Triple H. Yes, Triple H in the house here today. This was about a 20-minute scrum he did. It was the only scrum he did all SummerSlam TakeOver weekend. You would wonder why. It's not like I'm sure he's dodging a bunch of questions about NXT right now. Oh, my goodness, no. So anyway, Triple H gave us about 20 minutes of his time at the tryout camp. You're going to get to hear him talk about WWE's process. And, of course, I'm the guy who purposely wanted to trigger him by saying there was a lot of talk about changes in NXT and if that had changed the way he was looking at talent at his tryout camp. Because I'm really good about making my questions about what they want them to be about, but also kind of what you want them to be about. So anyway, Triple H will be here on the show later on. At the end of the show in the mailbag, we're going to look at Baron Corbin's current WWE Smackdown storyline. But without further ado, let's get right to it here today. News you can use, news that'll leave a bruise. This one, first off, coming from WrestleNomics, man. Friday's live AEW Rampage episode did 1.129 million viewers. This is up 52.57% from last week's, which did 740,000 viewers. Friday's Rampage did a 0.53 in the 18 to 49. That's up 76.6% from last week's premiere. The 0.53 key demo represented 629,000 18 to 49 viewers. So almost as many people as tuned in for the first episode, tuned in for the second, just in the key demo. That's up 74.75% from the 396 18 to 49 they did for the premiere. The opening quarter hour with Punk's appearance was watched by 1.341 million viewers, 842,000 of those being in the 18 to 49 demo, so almost a million people. The 0.53 key demo rating for the second Rampage episode, higher than all AE Dynamite episodes, except for the debut back on October in 2019. Huge numbers, EJ. What do you take away from the fact that they did so big here with Punk on their debut?
It's almost like people were anticipating something big happening, and they tuned in, and then they got the thing they wanted to see. Mm-hmm. Wow, kind of simple. I think that's great. I saw it coming. I called it before anybody else could.
I know
I was the first person. I was first. I commented first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. It makes me now, of course, the question's going to be, well, what's going to happen next week? Does that double or does it go down? So that's the fun game of numbers. I think it goes up.
Yeah, you think next week's Rampage is going to go up from this?
I feel like after this, more people are going to tune in to see, okay, what's going on in case they missed it.
Disagree. I mean, I Oh, 100% disagree. First of all, Antonio Garcia here saying what you were saying, the obvious. Did anyone doubt they'd clear $1 million? Sal Capaferri saying, so basically they just got the same audience from Dynamite. They actually did way better than they've been doing with recent Dynamites. I think with Punk's debut on Dynamite this Wednesday, you'll see a pop on Dynamite. I think they're going to keep Punk on Dynamite. If Punk was going to be a Rampage staple, then maybe. But no way, man. Like, I think people came for that Punk thing. I think a Friday 9 o'clock time slot is still a really, really rough spot. Last week, they managed to pull off 740,000 viewers for the premiere, which was good. They brought in the biggest gun you could get for the second episode with CM Punk. I wouldn't be shocked if next week we see more than a 50% drop, or this Friday, I should say, more than a 50% drop with Rampage. I just don't see you being able to keep that momentum going. Outside of the Punk thing, man, there was nothing really to write home about from that from the Darks or the Rampage that week. The tag was fine. Moxley Garcia, okay. There wasn't really anything that makes that show feel special or different or must see right now, other than if you trot out a CM Punk or something like that. And I doubt they're going to have week after week Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, Ruby Soho. I just don't see it happening, EJ.
I mean, that's why I kind of would like to see that happen. You tune into Dynamite and they're like, uh-oh, there's another big announcement on Rampage this Friday. People tune in. Boom. We get Brandon Danielson. They'd be playing Uno with a handful of draw fours. That's me and the big optimistic, how crazy can we make this thing go? And I'm going on the crazy train.
I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think that is very wishful thinking. You know, I think it has already kind of reset back to Dynamite, Punk to Dynamite. You know, all the big things going to happen on Dynamite. Really nothing going into Rampage this Friday, EJ. Like, there's no hook for this Friday's Rampage, at least not as far as I could tell, right? Yeah. And, like, the thing we were told was, like, Rampage was going to be, like, the self-sustained thing that had its own stories and stuff like that. We haven't seen any of that play out yet, you know? No. So, I really just wonder why, unless, again, like, you got Wednesday to set something up. I don't know where you go from here. I don't know that they will see these kinds of numbers for Rampage anytime soon, maybe ever again. I mean,
wow.
I'm just being real. You know, this is a really big number. It was because of Punk. You take Punk out of the equation. I don't know how this show does. We'll see. Dynamite.
Nick, you got to do a bet. We got to do a bet then. If they do over that number in the future, what will you do?
I'll say this, CJ. I'll put, what is it? August 24th. I'll put $10 on the fact that they will not have done better Rampage audience-wise in 1 year's time than they did this past Friday night. You good? You want to take that bet?
I will take that bet.
You're a madman. You're an absolute madman.
I just like betting. I got a problem.
An absolute madman. So, I mean, I just don't know how you go bigger or better than what they did. It was all about Punk. There was nothing else to that show, really, except for Punk. And now they're going to put Punk on Dynamite, and it's the slot they're known for. It's easier to find. It's at a better time. It's not late on a Friday. Dynamite could do better than this past Friday. I don't doubt that. There's a chance it does as better, maybe as well, maybe comparable. Yeah. But I don't see Rampage doing anywhere near this again anytime soon. And I think the Dynamite, I think we'll benefit from Punk, you know, but how much we'll see, you know, how much of what Punk did, resonated with people to make them want to stick around.
I think it's going to be a big move. Everybody was talking about it. Every push notification I got on my phone was about it.
Yeah. So we'll see. Samantha here saying, unless they do big debuts on Rampage. I mean, I just don't know, Samantha. How is Daniel Bryan a bigger debut than CM Punk to the AEW fans? Is it Bray Wyatt? Braun's not. You know, no. I just don't know who's comparable that's going to get this. We haven't seen you in 8 years. You're the voice of a new generation. Please sanctify AEW and say that this is the place that is not going to make you sick. I don't see anybody else out there like that.
I think Daniel Bryan is the only person, but it's not going to be as big. But he's the only other person I think that can make a big pop. Or here's our unicorn. If The Rock showed up, which I highly doubt.
We know The Rock ain't going to show up. He's got too much business with his cousin Roman. Brock Lesnar's decidedly back in the WWE fold. By the way, on our $10 bet, Headlock Heel agreed with me. I'll take that bet also. So more people, not and no knock. Look, Rampage could become its own thing. It'll be fine. Dark became its own thing. Elevation became its own thing. I personally do not go out of my way to find that programming. Just doesn't kind of grab me. But I just, yeah, man. Like, I just don't see it. So anyway, any final thoughts here on the viewership for AEW Rampage, EJ?
That is it. Can't wait to get my $10 this year.
Okay, all right. So moving on, BT Sports, Ariel Helwani, caught up with Nick Khan. Nick Khan, of course, the president of WWE right now, kind of the bad guy, the fall guy for all the decisions that everybody doesn't like that WWE is making right now, okay? So a couple buzzy things coming out of this. The first one I'll say, he was asked, is there a chance Raw will go back to 2 hours, right? Well, Nick Khan decided to say this instead. He said, listen, from my view, Raw would benefit from going 4 hours so we'd get paid more money. SmackDown going 8 hours, but I understand our creative folks, as amazing as they are, there's only so much great content they can produce on a weekly basis, so we're good with the 3 and 2 hour system. Does this man, he's got to be trolling wrestling fans when he says something like that.
It's either a troll or when somebody believes in themselves a little too much, like believing in their kid just a little too much. It's like, well, my son, he can do this for 8 hours. No, he can't. And we won't watch that. There's nothing I want to watch for 4 hours.
Yes. Like, let's imagine that a good creative is 2 hours, right? And let's say 2 hours is a 20-ounce Coke, okay? And you pour that 20-ounce Coke into a glass, but you don't have enough time to make more Coke. So to fill the glass, you just kind of pour some water in there, right? You start to water down the Coke, right? But then, like, they give you a bigger glass. And they're like, well, we got to fill this glass with Coke. And they're like, well, we only got so much Coke. You got to pour a little more water in that glass. And by the end of it, you don't really have anything that tastes like Coke anymore because your drive to fill the bigger glasses has made you have watered down soda. That was pretty good, right?
That was perfect. That nailed it, dude. And the thing is, and then they're going to give you the same thing every week. So they're like, okay, well, just take whatever people didn't drink last week, and we're going to do it again this week. And they'll take it. They'll buy it.
It still kind of tastes like Coke, doesn't it? I mean, we're trying to make as much as we can. We just had to use a little filler. That's all.
Use your imagination. It's the audience's fault. That is a wild statement.
This is where art by capitalism, which is really what Vince does, art by capitalism. This is where it really starts to fall apart, in my opinion, because like you have somebody that only sees dollars and cents trying to now have an effect on your creative product. The artists and the financiers should not be working that closely together, right? It's not like you don't have accountants from Second City coming in and telling you guys how you're going to change your show up or do sketches differently, correct?
No, there is a compartment and a department, and they do all of that stuff, but it's not that. There's nobody coming into the rehearsal going, more people like this and more people tweet about these type of jokes, so you guys need to do that. Absolutely not. No. You should not do that to a creative process, and that's the problem. That's when you turn into McDonald's.
Yes. So on that note, and by the way, I did throw up a Bobby Burns super chat here. He said it's not about debuts from here. It's about how they do it, what they do with the talent in terms of AEW. Don't be a tool house, but come on now. I was making that point for you, buddy. I wasn't advocating for debut.
He called you Hausman.
Whatever. Hausman, Bobby Burns. Bobby burned me. Okay, back to this conversation I'm having. So Nick Khan is then asked about, you like that?
I love it.
Nick Khan was then asked about NXT, really kind of confirming what a lot of the reports are out there, almost verbatim, as if maybe he floated them out there himself. So he says, we think about it.
Oh.
So he says, we are doing a complete revamp of NXT led by Triple H, who is really one of the architects of the original NXT. What we found, it's part of why we did the tryout yesterday. What we want to make sure is easy for folks who want to be a WWE superstar. is figuring out how to become WWE superstars. In terms of an NXT rebrand, look for it in the next couple of weeks. It's going to have a whole new look. It's going to have a whole new feel. And we believe, because of a lot of the indie wrestlers, if you will, have come through our system, and in our system with SmackDown and Raw now, we don't want to just keep doing the same thing. We want to look elsewhere for great young talent. To wit, Tony Khan got wind of these comments and responded on Twitter saying, professional wrestling is an art form. You don't create artists by training them all to paint by numbers in the same way, which is really echoing what you were just saying there, EJ.
Yeah, 100% agree. And that's been the biggest problem. Let's go back to when everybody hated Roman. Why did we hate Roman? Because they were trying to make him John Cena 2.0, same suffering succotash. And that's not what we want. So what we're going to get is a homogenous style of everybody wrestling a certain style. And we talk about the 3-ring circus, but if everybody's doing the robotic mechanical stuff, it doesn't matter. You don't feel anything. It just looks cool, and that's it.
Hey, real quick, I did see someone about the fan. Did your AC turn back on, EJ? Or do you have a fan on in the background?
Oh, yeah, I turned it down. Is it still?
Yeah, we can still hear it.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm just going to sweat for the rest of...
Apologies, buddy. Apologies. It was a little noticeable and irritable in the ears hole there. So
is somebody using the AC in August? Yes, it's me.
Sorry. Walk into a closet next time and do this, I guess. So anyway, yeah, it definitely is becoming glaring, the difference here between the philosophies of Nick and Tony Khan, right? Mm-hmm. And Tony really kind of filling the shoes of both Nick Khan and Vince McMahon over at AEW, kind of double dipping here, right? Mm-hmm. And so I could see why he'd be a little puff chested about it, but I saw Booker T's comments this morning about CM Punk's promo and how he didn't really like how Punk was going right at WWE, and he didn't think that was maybe the best tack. But that's really kind of become what AEW is recently. Like, there is so much, kind of back and forth jibing between these two companies. And I think it's intentional. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's just become like a very large part of this game that AEW is playing with WWE at the moment.
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is. We all want to hear about it. We all know these people and these athletes have issues. This day and age, you want to hear about that stuff. Back when it was WCW, the whole NWO the whole purpose was we're ex-WWF guys. We're upset. We're here to take over. That's what it is. That's what we want to see. And considering all the things he could have said, I think he was very reserved.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, it's good. I hope that we get the old school Eric Bischoff, like Tony Khan sitting in a chair, like, come on, Nick, why don't you come to All Out, man? Don't you want to get your shots in and prove that you're the top dog here? Vince can't do it now. And then Vince gets really upset, so
do like a who's the better Khan versus Khan.
We're going to see who's the con man and who's the real con man in pro wrestling, right?
There you go.
Top con. So anyway, it's a carny business, people. I'm just saying. Okay, talking about a carny business. Hey, let's talk about Raw.
Zowie.
Last night on Raw, Karrion Kross returned to the ring post SummerSlam. It's the night after he lost the NXT title. This is what we're starting with here. Raw saw Kross squash Ricochet pretty quickly. The suplex that he does is no longer a Saito suplex. It's the Doomsday suplex. But the biggest news coming out of this match is now how Kross came to the ring wearing a new gladiator mask. He removed the mask before the bell rang, but he's now also wearing new in-ring attire to go with this gladiator mask. And does somebody hate him? Like, what is this look, EJ?
Somebody does not like him. And I feel like he's one of those guys who's like, look, I'm going to do it and turn it into the best thing that I can. It's my job. But goodness, as soon as the lights came up and I saw the mask, I started laughing. And that's not a good sign. You're not supposed to laugh at this guy. You're supposed to be intimidated by him. And now he's in the ring with demolition suspenders, like his little S&M harness. What is this? Why? Yeah. I bet next week he's going to come out with a shield and a sword.
Well, here's the thing is like, first of all, probably. But like Vince saw the like tease of the gladiator thing the Cross was doing and was like, no, if he's a gladiator, full gladiator, right? All the way to 10. And it really smacks to me of, and I tweeted this last night, like 1994 WWF, right? Like the Goon, Duke the Dumpster, Drosy, Bob Sparkplug, Holly. It's not like you can be a three-dimensional person. You have to be some kind of now 2D character that can easily be replicated into action figures or stickers or whatever, Aretha Frank binders, whatever the kids do now.
Aretha Frank.
It's so like it's not, and like it's Cross, it's Nikki Ash, right? Mm-hmm. Like I feel like even the RK Bro thing, like Riddle's kind of this 2D kind of just stoner guy. It's not as obvious, and it's more of like in his actual personality. But I do see more of a return to this like kind of 2D, very simplistic characters. And historically, not a great period for WWF, 94, and also led to the rise of WCW because fans in mass rejected the very simplistic product directed at kids that Vince McMahon was offering to them. And if you were just trying to step on the tripwire and set off all the crossbows at your head, this is the kind of shit that I'm thinking that you would be doing, EJ.
Dude, isn't it beautiful when you're old enough to see history repeat itself? I think that's wild.
Sometimes. I'm okay with it repeating every 10 to 15 years in my wrestling. Every 200 years in my politics is a little different. Anyway, back to you.
Touche. It feels like they're so cocky. They're like, we can do this and we're still going to win. We're still the big honcho, so we don't have to try. I don't know. It feels exactly like the 90s. He looks like an action figure type deal. So maybe that's just what it is. They want to sell toys. They want to sell masks for Halloween and kids. And it's that thing of what you said earlier. Finance people are coming in and saying, this is our optics. More kids are watching. We need somebody with a mask. We need this. We need that. And it's just, that's not what it is. That's not what we want.
Right.
But I'm not a child, so.
I was talking to somebody yesterday that used to be in a kind of higher position at WWE. And I was talking to them candidly about this, and I've made this observation before, but like AEW is like, older brother, dad watches AEW, but like has kids, and his wife won't let the kids watch AEW because Nick Gage might, take a pizza cutter to somebody's head. So the kids, dad has to take the kids to WWF. That's your starter wrestling fed, right? Mm-hmm. And the person I was speaking with was like, well, maybe that's what they want, right? Like maybe they're like, fine, AEW, you want to be cool older brother stuff. You want to, you want to be the one to do the blood and guts and all that stuff. Great. Have at it. Go take the sponsors that will attach their name to that, right? What we want is we want the dad or the older brother or whatever that comes and he brings 4 people with him, right? Kids that want stuff, that want to buy stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so we'll take your 2-to-1 fans because our 1 fan is worth 3 of your 2. If I did that, I don't know. I'm really a bad math person, but you get where I'm going with that.
No, I get your Steiner math. No, I totally get it.
Right. Yes.
That makes sense, but that's from a business standpoint for them to go the opposite way. And this is exactly what was happening with Cena, but we didn't have much of another option except for the indies. Like they had that whole run of Cena where it was just Cena, bright color shirts, toys for the kids. And we had a few things that we liked there, but everybody was into the indies and the alternative until WWE started taking the alternative and being like, we own them now, but now look how we make them into cool cartoons. And I don't know, something's going to give.
Yeah. And it's going to be like advertisers, right? If people start to leave WWE to go support AEW, I don't know if that's going to happen because, again, I think WWE may be in the mindset of, well, at the very least, we're just going to present a more advertiser-friendly product, a more merchandise-friendly product for kids. And maybe they're getting exactly what they want, that hard line in the sand. You can't, if you're watching us, you're not going to like this and vice versa. We want to try to rip that seam down the middle, I guess, so to speak. So,
yeah.
Anyway, a lot of words there stimming out of Killer or Karrion Kross's ridiculous gladiator attire last night. But also on Raw, the other big news item coming out of it, The Miz has officially turned on John Morrison. This was after Miz lost a match to Xavier Woods, where Morrison tried to help so bad, but he wound up costing Miz the match. So before the match, I should say the whole context of this thing, there was this Moist TV segment that John Morrison did. It featured Logan Paul. Logan Paul was showered in booze. And then Miz later would talk about how Morrison was ripping off his gimmicks and all that, and that would lead to the heel split. What do you want to take first here? You want to talk about how people hate Logan Paul, or do you want to talk about how Miz turned on Morrison? Where do you want to go first?
Oh, let's jump on the Logan Paul thing first, since it happened first. Yeah, everybody hates him, and it feels like they were trying to make him a face.
Yes.
Like it felt like WWE didn't get the memo, and they were like, oh, he's popular. Let's bring him in, which is the thing that drives me insane. They don't get what they're doing or what they have. He should have been out there talking crap, being like, whatever, you all wish you looked like me, blah, 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 blah. And the place would have melted because everybody hates those guys. What were they? Who told them? What intern said, yeah, no, this is great?
Yeah, it was a bad call. Logan Paul, not widely beloved as much as I think that maybe their internal metrics say. Headlock heel saying Paul has go home heat. Paul Baya, Logan Paul's gonna be in the WWE Hall of Fame in the near future. Maybe, right? He guess.
Probably.
That'll convince his way to thumb his nose at everybody. I think they've had Logan Paul on in the past and didn't quite get this reaction when he was doing the Sami Zayn stuff. I don't know if it was the market. I don't know if it was the general resentment towards the Cross attire that people had seen earlier, but it didn't work. It didn't click. And yeah, Logan Paul looked like a little it looked a little hurt. It kind of gave me Ronda Rousey vibes. Like, why? What? How do people not like me?
But he knows people hate him. That's the thing. I mean, I could see that. He was like, oh, I thought they were gonna like me, and he looked hurt. He was like, well, I'm sure you guys will like me one day. And then they're having The Miz be the heel on him, but now people are cheering The Miz because he's crapping on him. So everyone's like, well, we like The Miz, but we're not supposed to like The Miz. It was just a big old kerfuffle. He should have been out there. People hate him more. More people know about him and dislike him. Just go full heel.
DX Vex here saying it's like having your grandpa try to figure out pop culture. You know what? Maybe because somebody's grandpa is booking this shit. So anyway.
I think that's literally the problem.
I get. By the way, Boss Man says Miz was trying to save it. And I was talking to somebody else last night, another person I have a lot of respect for, veteran, who was like, I don't know that I'm a big Miz fan. And I was like, Miz is great, dude. And then by the end of this segment, they were like, yeah, you're right. Miz is great. Because Miz was working his ass off. Working his ass off to make this Logan Paul segment work last night. And then post-match, when he went to beat down John Morrison, the fans were there for it. The Logan Paul stuff was what it was. Wrestle crap. It'll be remembered and talked about probably for much longer than it deserves to be talked about. But that Miz turn on Morrison, the fans wanted to hate Miz. They want to love Morrison. It's a very simple dynamic. It was the right time for it to happen. I'm glad they didn't drag this thing on much longer with these two. And I'm genuinely excited and interested to see where Miz and Morrison go. Miz was really just laying that stuff in, man. He was going to town on Morrison last night.
Kicking the crap out of him. And Morrison does such a great job of being such an elusive guy. It was him trying to get away while Miz is just kicking anything that moved, just stomping him in the face. Dude, it was exactly what we need. Yeah, those forearms, everything. I think that's the most vicious Miz looked since he teamed up with R-Truth years ago.
Wow. Wasn't that Miz Truth, right?
I think so, yes.
I think the Miz Truth, if I'm going back in my Rolodex. So
they had an edge for like 2 seconds. But no, that's what we all wanted. The Logan Paul felt like an extra ingredient on a burger we didn't ask for.
It was awesome truth. It was the awesome truth.
Yes.
Yeah. And they fought John Cena and The Rock. Remember that? That was like a Survivor Series main event.
Absolutely. That was such a blip in time, and that crazy that happened.
All right, King Rail here. King Rail saying, after this feud, John should be taken off TV for a little, bring him back with a more serious character, put him in the US or IC picture. I do want to see Miz. You know, this is a rivalry you could get 2 pay-per-views, maybe 3 pay-per-views out of. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to see these. I mean, there's so much blood here. There's so much story you could tell. You know, maybe they find friends, you do tags, you do singles. I don't really want to see these two. And I don't say this often about many things in WWE, but I would like to see these two stay together and try to really build off of this, because there's just so much you can play with between these two.
Absolutely. I'm going to go off that comment. I like Morrison like this because he's silly, he's entertaining, but he still gets it done in the ring. And when we saw him live, everybody in the audience is on board with the moist and the drip stuff. We all like that. I could see this ending with a whatchamacallit, intergender tag match with their wives.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Maybe. Taya, you have to get her out of NXT.
No, that'd be hard.
I don't know. Yeah, right. I don't know if Maurice is like wanting to wrestle right now. I mean, she's had what, 2, 3 kids now? I think 2. I don't know.
Yeah, but she comes back for like one-off, like special occasions. It's a tag match. I'm sure, you know. I don't know.
All right. I'm not against it. I'm just saying I don't know if the odds of it are. We have this is like Stank Boy, great name. And by the way, Stank Boy's avatar is Jesus Christ with Keanu Reeves' face. He says Miz turning on Morrison, it's like 2008 all over again. Sorry, 2009, right? Yeah, like we say, you know, isn't it great to have been watching wrestling so long that everything's coming back around again?
Put some more water in the Coca-Cola.
So wait. His name's Johnny Drip Drip. Everything's wet. What if we just made him a big bucket of water? Right? He's just a bucket, a big walking bucket of water. He's walking, sloshing around, water coming out of the top. Oh my God! You can put fish in the bucket.
They're gonna put him with Dewdrop. Johnny Drip Drip and Dewdrop. Hold on, wait a minute.
Hey, she's wrapped up with Eva next week on Raw, I think. So don't put. I wouldn't put it past them. Oh man. Aqua Sauce. I don't know why that was the name. I thought of them as a tag team. I don't know if Aqua Sauce is a good name or not, but it's what I thought of. So
that's a good anyway.
Hey, never mind. Here's the name: G Bailey 91 Dew Drip.
That's it.
That writes itself.
It's right there.
That writes itself. So Eva goes with Miz. Honestly, I don't hate this as much as I really want to. I think there's like something to it. So
yeah, those work. Those dynamics work.
Miz and Eva Marie is a tandem, and Dewdrip. I'm just gonna call him Dewdrip because that's a great name. I do like that, right? Ooh, Dina Garofalo also saying drip drop.
That's gonna be their finisher. They're gonna do the drip drop.
Dewdrip does the drip drop. That's a really good idea.
Oh my God! Now I kind of need to see this.
Okay, we're moving past this story. Boss Man says, "I hate this." Stink Boy, it's such good shit. It really is, Stink Boy. It really is. I have to read Headlock Heels. Drip, drop, drip, drippity drop. So, like, anyway.
They have like a whole song. Yes.
I hate that I am doing this and putting these thoughts into the world. Okay. An update on Becky Lynch from The Observer. New SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch apparently was the one to ask WWE officials for her to work heel during this run. Now, I was very critical yesterday when we found out that Becky Lynch is coming back to work as a heel on SmackDown. How do you feel about it, EJ?
Stemming off of SummerSlam, not great, but I guess you have to. If we keep Bianca as the face and bring Becky back as heel, but everybody's so excited to see Becky back, I don't know how we're not going to like her, because the last time they tried to make her a heel, we ended up liking her.
I'm going to wait till Friday, but the more I think about it and I run it back, like if you're going to bring her back as a heel, bring her back as doing something heelish, right?
Yeah.
Like Becky Lynch came out, music hit, big smiles, high fives, hugging little girls, gets into the ring. I mean, I guess you could make a case for heelishly ending Bianca Belair's title reign in a matter of seconds, a la Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston. But, I mean, that's a very inside baseball way to get heat. I'm mad at your booking is not what an 8-year-old understands, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to have her be a heel, she's got to do something heelish. And I just didn't get a single bit of heel off of Becky during her return at SummerSlam.
No, in those 15 seconds, nothing besides the sneak punch, the sucker punch. But they've booked people so long that even the good guys will do that, and you're like, yeah, you sucker punched them. I love you. Do it again. I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen Friday, but it just feels like she needs to do something evil. She's going to have to open the show with some sort of promo and say, aha, you can't do it like me, and she's going to have to crap on everybody. And hopefully that works.
I just don't know why you do it. Like, you're in this zone here right now where you could sell so much merch. Like, she's flirting with Hollywood, you know. Maybe this is always something she wanted to do, so she wants to kind of get it out of her system to show she can do it. Dina Garofalo here saying Becky can be an easy heel by aligning herself with Seth, who most fans hate. We've seen those two together. I just don't want to see it again. The fans rejected the Becky-Seth on-screen alliance. I just don't want to go back to that place.
Yeah, but maybe it'll work better with them as heels, because last time they were goody-goodies and yuck. They could do that. I don't think they should unless she's going to be just as annoying as him. I just don't see what her character would be. And I don't want to stick her with Seth too quick. I think she should figure it out on her own, or they'll figure it out for her. I just don't know what she's going to do, what that promo looks like. I'm interested. Well,
Azelle Pompous here saying Bayley became a good heel when everyone thought it was a bad idea. And I don't know that everyone thought it was a bad idea, because I think a lot of people, when Bayley turned heel, were kind of at a point where it was like, we have seen this, we have done this, even to the, minutia of people saying, I wish you would just, get rid of those Bayley buddies, right? And then she actually took a knife to them and murdered them, right? Still a great moment. I think that people were there I was coy on how I thought she'd do as a heel. I am way over impressed. I mean, hot damn, Bayley has turned into a fantastic heel. I think Becky can do it. I just question the logic of, should you do it, right? It's like Jurassic Park. Can we do it? Yes, but should we do it? I don't want to say dinosaurs will run amok, because, again, I don't want to put ideas into Vince's head. We've already seen the zombies, whatever. But I do think I think it is a question of chaos theory. Should we do it?
Yeah, and I don't think we should, just because we were all so excited to see her. Everybody loves her. She comes back and instantly is like, haha, I'm a heel. What happened? What happened? What happened during your pregnancy that turned you? Tell us.
So at this point here, all 4 of the WWE horsewomen are effectively heels, right? Down the line. Yes. Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, and now Becky. All 4 of the 4 horsewomen are now are all heels. That's kind of, I don't know if there's anything to that, but I think it's very interesting considering how the 4 most beloved women in NXT are now the top female heels in WWE. It may be just something for somebody to write an article about or something, so.
Fine, I'll do it.
All right. EJ nominated himself. So
I'm just going to put their pictures on Mount Rushmore and be like, heels.
All right. Lastly here, before we get to the Triple H audio, which is, again, available already on our YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about Baron Corbin in the mailbag, so stick around for that. But Sports Gamer Online saying 2K Sports and WWE 2K22 developer Visual Concepts have been butting heads with WWE over several factors in the game's development, straining the relationship. The main cause for the tension appears to be over the release of WWE 2K22. The report claims that WWE pushed for the game to be released in the fall of 2021, as previous games had been, while 2K and Visual Concepts pushed for the delay into the spring, which they ultimately received. The main reason 2K and Visual Concepts sought the delay was to work around WWE's numerous roster cuts. The promotion has released at least 46 wrestlers in 2021. Several of them were scheduled to be in WWE 2K22. The game was shaping up to be the, quote, most outdated roster a game has seen, though the delay will now allow 2K and Visual Concepts to adjust accordingly. Other issues have revolved around WWE being more hands-on. Following the dismal performance of 2K20, the latest release of WWE's 2K yearly series, 2K20, was critically, commercially unsuccessful, numerous technical issues and bugs, and the failure of 2K20 prompting both parties to skip over 2K21 in favor of this game, with WWE putting a lot of pressure forward for a better game with 2K22. WWE had openly floated the idea of working with other developers and publishers going forward, which many at 2K and Visual Concepts viewed as a threat. Combined with everything else, it has led many at Visual Concepts expressing frustration, with one source saying it's not a fun place to be, filled with second guessing and desperation. What is this, the Performance Center? I kid.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, man, they just broke their culture and just infiltrated the whole video game culture.
Dude, it's crazy, man. And like at a time, I remember a few years ago when they were really trying to make more of an investment on making road life better for the superstars, better catering, more space for their family. I think they had like daycare on site. And, it really kind of looked like there was going to be a talent employee first kind of program as WWE tried to change the way they were catering to talent. That has gone out the window. I don't want to put it all on the feet of Nick Khan because Vince is there, Bruce is, whoever is there right up top helping to make these decisions. But it does seem like this air of paranoia and devaluing of oneself is really just permeated no longer just the roster, but just kind of every aspect of WWE. And again, just talking to the people I have here recently, more and more, I just hear from people that it's harder to sign wrestlers because they know mentally what that place will do to you, but also because WWE, like, if you make a great deal, they'll renege on it, right? They'll go back on it. If you make a good deal, maybe they'll keep you. But that's not a place to be negotiating from, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're an employee in the office, right, you are actively, I know multiple people in the WWE offices that are actively trying to find their next job, right? Because of how unpredictable and precarious the WWE headquarters has become. It is a place that has become untenable for people to work for any prolonged period of time, either because of their mental stress or financial hardships, or in many cases, a combination of both. And a real cultural change is going to have to take place at WWE to repair the wounds that have been opened up in so many parts of the company. And I just don't know what that is going to look like, EJ. I don't know what that bridge to fixing it is going to look like in the immediacy, because it seems like they have no interest in building that bridge right now, EJ.
That bridge, in order to build, you nailed it with the cultural shift needs to happen. We've seen it the past year with a lot of companies. A lot of the higher ups step down, they're leaving just because of old problems and old ways. I feel like WWE still has the seed, and we know who he is, that still carries on the old traditions. And that doesn't, what worked in the 70s and the 80s isn't what's flying in the 2020s anymore. You don't need that sort of energy. You should not be rushing them to make you a video game, putting pressure on them, saying, no, we want it now. And they're like, we need some more time. It's like, no, now. And then you release 40-something wrestlers. And now they're sitting there like, wait, we made all these characters.
Right.
You have such a deep roster. We did this for you. Now I need to go back and like, and it's that same thing with the grandpa. He doesn't know how to make a video game. So he's like, just hit backspace or delete and get him out of here.
And look, as somebody who probably manages too many people at the moment, and by the way, huge credit to both my Wrestling Inc. and Pro Wrestling for Life teams. Everybody's doing a fantastic job, especially with as busy as everything is at the moment. You're all doing great. But a big part of like managing a team isn't just managing so that things get done, right? Managing a team is also personal management, right? As somebody who has worked for a lot of asshole bosses in my life, I don't like to be that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have to make calls that are not fun calls to make. But my job when managing a team of people is to make sure that they are managed in a way where expectations are set and can be met in a way that does not stress or burn them out or make them want to leave. You want to retain the employees you have that do good work. Where's the comment here? Yeah. Boss Man says, go look at Glassdoor and WWE. They got roasted. They get roasted, right? And it's true. I've seen all that stuff, man. And like, I do wonder, with that kind of goodwill leaving in so many aspects, are you going to get the same quality of people that you could have gotten if you had if you did a better job of management of your team, right? Because it's one thing to get things done and make your company in the black, but it's another thing to retain that team that puts you in the black, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know where their head is at right now, other than we're going to strip this thing down. We don't care what anybody thinks, because in 2 years when SmackDown's up, this whole thing's out the window anyway, and they could fill it in with Disney, Fox, whoever could fill in the pieces, management, roster, whatever they want to do with it. We are just trying to create the most efficient, cheap product right now so that we can resell this thing for as much as possible. If that's not the case, I don't know what else is going on at the moment.
Which is such a bad concept. I mean, I get it. So buy cheap, sell high. But we're talking about history repeating itself. It has a lot of the WCW stench on it, where people are like, you want to go there, man. They don't know what to do with you. You'll just be collecting a check and sitting in catering, which a lot of people are. Where's Asuka? You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that's just, poor her. She's just posting pictures of like, I'm bored. Like, you guys have nothing for me to do today? Cool. And it's a lot of that happening. A lot of that same energy, a lot of the wrong people running things at the top. They have all this talent, and they don't know what to do with it. The same thing, WCW had Stone Cold Steve Austin. They had Undertaker for a hot second. It was like, you're never going to be anything. And they're doing the same thing, all right, for numbers. But it's for numbers now.
All right. Well, EJ, I want to thank you very much for joining me at the top of the show to talk all the news of the day. Thank you to Triple H for taking the time to chat with us in the media scrum at the Vegas tryout camp. Again, if you want to watch that media scrum that Triple H held, it's over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. Got a brand new work phone, iPhone 11 tripod, beautifully filmed. Really very proud of how that one came out. So go check that out over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. And before we get to the mailbag here, I got to point out Chaz show saying men eating half-melted then refrozen CM Punk ice cream bars on their podcast is my new kink. For those of you that didn't check it out yesterday in the mailbag, I did take my CM Punk ice cream bar. I didn't open it. I threw it in my freezer as soon as I got home. It was a little melty, but it froze into kind of the general shape of the bag. I ate it very sloppily yesterday at the end of the show, a little Hausman mukbang to kind of wrap up my Monday Daily. So if you haven't peeped it, it's over there on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. It just get all messy, right?
Little Hausman Monday mukbang.
Oh, Monday mukbang.
Lord.
Okay. So let's dive into the mailbag here. At Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That is the Twitter account if you want to follow to vote in our daily polls. Currently, our account is at, wow, we did it, 1,203 followers. Yesterday, we had like 1,190. We added like 15 people. Holy hell, you guys are fantastic. Now we are on the road to 1,300. So if you want to go follow the account, you could be number 1204 or 1205. Either of those numbers, and I'm just being genuine here, are my favorite numbers, and you could be either one of those numbers. So go follow us over on Twitter. Means a lot right here, deep down.
1204 and 1205, just right here.
I love it. Okay, so I don't know why I did the evil twisty mustache. It just felt right, So nothing establishes on a character on an improv stage as evil than going, right?
Yeah. Most definitely. That's my go-to. Man, I'm going to tie you to the tracks.
There's never a good guy who's like, let me refinance your house.
That's a great character, though. I'm gonna write that for you.
There seems to be a baby in that burning building. Perhaps I shall go save the baby.
I'm your pediatrician. Oh.
I don't know if the last one was somebody I'd be like, that's a good guy. I don't know. Evil pediatrician going like that? Yes. Okay. It's dumb. All right. So the poll question here today. What would you like to see happen next in Baron Corbin's current SmackDown storyline? Do you want to see him lose his job at WWE? Do you want to see him become Cameron Grimes' butler? Do you want to see him find success or regain his crown? Or do you want him to do something else? Well, we have over almost 350 votes here. 38.8% want to see him become Cameron Grimes' butler. 27% would like to see him find success, regain his crown, which is way more people than I expected. 23.9% said they want to see him lose his job. And then there's 10.3% that have some kind of other write-ins. So we have a bunch of write-ins. I like today's write-ins because they're more storyline driven. But where do you want to see this Baron Corbin storyline go from here?
Oh my goodness, Nick! I voted lose job at WWE. I like when people commit too hard to a bit. So I want him to lose his job at WWE, change his whole profile, make a booking email, but ask for way too much money. So then everybody online is like, Baron Corbin's booking is $1 million to book him for an indie show. Nobody's taking him. Nobody wants him. And let that be the storyline for a while. And then he comes back like, hey guys, I'll wrestle for like whatever. Or he comes back really just beaten down, and he becomes a phoenix from those ashes.
Okay, I feel that. I like Samantha QT here. First of all, pointing out that Corbin won some money and had a good steak dinner in Vegas on his way to being Mr. Happy Corbin. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with the Vegas stuff. There was a report that they actually, I have a report here. So this whole question stemmed from PW Insider's report that there's going to be a storyline twist coming for Corbin. WWE filmed a lot of content with Corbin in Vegas over the weekend. Corbin noted on Twitter that he had found some luck, just like Samantha was saying. The report added that the Corbin Vegas deal with WWE will be a social media storyline that's going to play out all week before SmackDown, at which point there's going to be some kind of twist in the story. Now, there were plans at one point to film content with illusionist Chris Angel in Vegas. However, no confirmation if Corbin filmed content with Angel, which opens up the idea, how does magic play into this twist, EJ? Does he disappear? Does he get put in a box and then Chris Angel makes him disappear and we don't know where Baron Corbin is at? I don't know.
And there's just segments of him in like a smoky purple room and he's like, I don't know where I'm at, man. What happened?
Right.
And it's just Corbin trying to be found out of magic. That's crazy enough to work.
Yeah, I don't know. Buscat over on Twitter, he is Happy Corbin. At WeWesty28, I'd go the whole hangover scenario when he's trying to recall what he'd done in Vegas, then have him face Nakamura, and when he loses, he becomes like an assistant or something. Okay. At Mark Azulu, he keeps having a seesaw year. Just when his luck is about to change, it gets worse. Royal Rumble, he gets number 1, but he ends up winning the Rumble. That's a longer term thing. I don't hate it, but I feel like there's something more in the immediacy that we're going to. At J-Pac Baby, he becomes the manager to a face. He also does that person's driving, laundry, whatever is needed to make a buck, even helping the face win a few matches. This all leads to the 2021 King of the Ring, where Corbin fills in for the injured face and once again become king. It does kind of feel like if they bring the King of the Ring back, Corbin would be once again the favorite to win and take back his crown, would it not?
I mean, yeah, but Xavier's been pushing for that super hard. I do like the idea of him becoming a manager for a face, but almost in like a bumbling way. Like he's managing a face. He always tries to cheat to make the face lose, but it always backfires on him and the face wins, like Bugs Bunny sort of situation. So he's really helping, but he's trying not to, but he keeps getting egg on his face. And he's a face by proxy, but he's not trying to be. He's a face by result, not by action.
Okay. I like this one here from G Bailey 91 on Twitch. Corbin in a 3,000 Miles to Graceland remake segment, which I don't know. Are you familiar with the film 3,000 Miles to Graceland, DJ?
Oh, yeah, with all the Elvises robbing the casino?
Yes.
Of course.
Like, there are comfort movies, and there's 3,000 Miles to Graceland, which I will never, ever tire of watching. And every time I've talked to David Arquette, I've basically brought it up. Like, I think maybe a little weird about it at this point. One of my favorite movies. I guess what you're insinuating is Baron Corbin would like pull off some kind of Vegas heist, right? Where he steals all the money and then dressed as Elvis, takes off cross country and is eventually mowed down in a swarm of bullets by the authorities trying to get the money back. I'm guessing is what he's talking about. I don't think they'll go that route, but that's the plot line. And by the way,
the lead officer is going to be Honky Tonk Man. He's like, nobody takes my gimmick.
pull Honky in on it. 100%.
Pull Honky in on it is the best phrase I've heard all month.
Big Scoot just tweeted Universal Champion. At _Mark at _ I wouldn't mind him and Kevin Owens as a tag team. Big Will 904 recruit others who have lost their way and start a group. Okay. At Rich Gutierrez 18 winning the lottery and Spangler saying take over the company. What if he did goes to Vegas, wins millions of dollars, decides that he's going to make a wise investment. He's tired of the way he's been booked on SmackDown, and he has bought the brand. And Baron Corbin, who's always been really good in an authority role, I could see him, some kind of, I don't know, try attempted takeover investment. I don't know. I'm not against it. I don't know how it plays out, but I think there could be something to that.
He makes a trade with Sonya Deville.
Sure. Yeah, why not? And then let's see here. I'll do one more from the comment section. This one from Twitch as well. This from DX Vex. Just have random people dressed as Corbin around the arena. They close up and boom, it's not him.
There's your magic.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in here today. We'll find out what happens with Baron this week going into Friday on SmackDown. I want to once again thank Triple H and WWE and you, of course, EJ. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by Brian Wool, another comedian here on the show. Also on the show tomorrow, you're going to hear the full audio from the WWE Vegas Tryout Camp Media Scrum with Samoa Joe. So more content here from SummerSlam weekend rolling out. We actually have a ton of content. So we're going to be kind of spacing it out over the next couple of weeks with some big names that we got over on SummerSlam weekend. So come back tomorrow for Samoa Joe, me, and Brian. Also, if you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all the socials. And, of course, the Wrestling Inc. podcast goes live at night after all the big shows right here on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. And you can subscribe to that on your favorite podcast platform as well. Hey, wait. Martin Cassius, Marty the Moth, saying adios. Now, Marty, since you're in here right now, and I don't know if you want to answer the question. I don't think, can I bring this person onto the show? I don't think I can. But Marty, I want to know, and maybe you can answer the comment section. I was at the tryout camp. I don't think I saw you. I think you had mentioned to me you were going to be a part of the tryout camp. Were you there? Did you make it to the Thursday? Because I think there was like 1 or 2 days before Thursday. If you were there, were you one of the only independent wrestlers? Because Hunter said 90% of the people there were athletes that had never taken a step into the ring. So if you want to give us a little story about how your time at the tryout camp went, if you went to the tryout camp, Marty, I'm very, very interested to hear how that experience went for you. And you can hit me up offline, or we'll bring you back on the show if you want to talk about it. Whatever, Marty. You're a friend of the show. I want to thank you, Marty. I like you, Marty the Moth. What a terrifying man. Take you by the neck, murder you, torture you. Okay.
You turn to an old 1920s car. See, I'm gonna take you by the neck.
Marty the Moth.
Marty the Moth got a lot of moxie.
More mustache twisting. And by the way, I guess Marty did once again. We got 365 Pro Wrestling saying raid here, so I guess we're getting raided again by Marty.
We're about to get raided. I knew it.
Always appreciate. All right, EJ, what do you want to plug for up whatever here before we wrap up the show today?
Folks, keep being kind. Give me a follow at EJ_Cam19 on Twitter. Easy Jesus 19 on Instagram. Keep washing your hands. Be safe. Take care of yourself. Do something that makes you happy.
Right.
A lot of people, we work all the time and we don't ever take time for ourselves. Take a moment out of the day, 10 minutes at the least, just for yourself. Do something you like that's not going to harm somebody else. Eat a bagel.
Eat a bagel. Bagels are delicious. I've been eating croissants recently too.
Ooh, la la. Okay.
I get 10 for $5. 10 for $5 at the Mariano's. They're always on sale, and so I've been taking in some croissants recently. I'm not gonna lie, like a bacon egg croissant sandwich, like homemade. Good. Liz went and got some like black truffle oil, fancy place, and like I'm not supposed to use it all the time, but I put a little bit in just about all the oil I use, and everything just tastes so good. So I've been doing this a lot today. It's a day of
mustache twist.
I know, chef's kiss and mustache twists. That's what we got here today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I am at Nick_Hausman on Twitter. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.